what we're all about. It's just they just don't know our players, and what they're not understanding is our 5 returning starters are much better players than they were last year too. So I think they're not giving those guys credit, and but that's okay. Like we said, we're okay with it, and we'll see what happens.
What about the new kids? Obviously, pitching is going to be a big question mark. How do you see that kicking?
We got some good young arms. You know, we probably got more guys showing 90+ than we've ever had during my time here. Now, whether they can pitch in a game or not, that's to be determined, and that's what you try to play these early season games to try to find out. But I like some of our arms. I like that we're a little bit more athletic on the mound. We're probably going to have 6 freshmen in our top 12 pitchers, which is something we're not used to. We're used to being a little bit more veteran on the mound there, but we're going to have to rely. We're going to have to be patient a little bit early. But I believe that these guys are going to continue to grow and get better. By the time we play conference, which is the 3rd week in March, that we'll be better prepared and we'll be ready.
What are you expecting from Gerber this year? He kind of caught fire at the end of last season, and he's always had the talent. What are you expecting out of him?
Well, Mike's a very talented player, and what Mike has to understand, the next jump that Mike has to take is he's got to become consistent. We've all seen flashes. You guys have seen it. We've seen it. What he's capable of doing. Now the next step, if he wants to become a great player at this level, is he's got to do it day in and day out. He's got to be consistent with what he's doing in practice, and that's got to carry over into being consistent in the game. He's a much better player right now coming off the fall. He's healthy again. If you remember, he got injured at the end of the season last year out in L.A. So he's healthy again. He's healthy with his legs. His arm's healthy. He's changed his stroke a little bit. He's trying to cut down on the strikeouts. But he's as talented a player as we've had come through here the last couple of years. We just got to get him to play more consistent.
Have you guys made a note that you're going for 3 tournament appearances in a row? It's only been done once before.
You know, I looked at it. I think if my calculations are right, only one team has done it since '77, and that's been Wichita State. So we would be the only non-Wichita State team to do it if we could pull it off since that time. But we talked about it in our first meeting when we met with the players when they came back from Christmas break. It's way out there. It's a goal that's way out there. There's a lot of things that we have to accomplish and work on up until that point. But that's the ultimate goal, because, you know, if you win that conference championship, you're still playing, and that's good.
How big is the ability to practice on that new inside the new facility?
Well, it's huge. I mean, we've had seasons here when we used to practice on campus where we would never take a ground ball before the first game because I refused to take ground balls on a tile surface. So, you know, it gives your infielders, your defense, a better chance to adapt. We've had this facility here where we could hit a lot for the last 13 or 14 years. So it better prepares our defense for what we need to do and how we need to play. We've had 2 workouts in the new RAS Center, and it's been outstanding. I mean, we can get our arms up. We can do everything we need to do in there other than work on your cuts and relays with your outfielders. So it's perfect. It's on campus. It's what these players have been longing to have. I know we're taking full advantage of it, as well as our softball and soccer team, so it's outstanding.
What about non-conference scheduling? Has it been easier, more difficult since the new stadium has arrived?
Well, we're getting a lot of attention from a lot of teams that we'd like to play. You know, obviously we were able to get Dallas Baptist up here last year, and we have to return the trip this year to open up the season down in Dallas, Texas. But we've been in conversations with a lot of people that our fans would enjoy watching play. Now the question is, when are we going to have open weekends to bring these folks in for a weekend series? How early do we start over there? Are we going to have springs like we had last year, which was outstanding? I mean, we were playing games over there as early as September 7th or 8th when it was 75 degrees. You know, is that something that's very rare, or is that something that's a little bit more common? And then who's able to come up in midweek games? Because a lot of the schools down south that we'd all like to see come up and play us, they don't want to give up a home date. They don't want to give up a home gate. And then they're always looking at missed class time, too, as well as trying to get up here for a midweek situation. So we've talked to a lot of them. I think we're about a year or so away from trying to really figure out how this schedule is going to come about. But I anticipate us attracting, I know we got Cal State Bakersfield coming in here in a couple years. I mean, a lot of California schools have never come to the Midwest. There's a ton of them out there to play. So slowly but surely we're getting the type of teams that we'd like to see interested in coming to Omaha and playing at TD Ameritrade.